Hello and welcome to Earth911's Sustainability in Your Ear. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe, your host, and today we are doing another innovator interview, this time with Frank Fox, who's the co-founder of Sustainable Composites, a Lancaster, Pennsylvania-based company that has invented a patented technology for making a new form of leather from scrap leather, which will dramatically reduce the waste associated with the leather industry. Frank, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, Enspire Leather, and folks, that's spelled Enspire, is a new technology, basically. And it's leather, but it's not leather. Tell us what it is.
Well, we call it is the only recycled product that looks, smells, feels, and behaves like leather. You can't tell it apart from leather. And one of the reasons is that we go to the basics, have developed a product to take all the fibers, separate the fibers out from scrap leather, and put those fibers into a solution, and then put them back together again on a machine that drains them. So we have reconstituted leather. We've taken it apart and taken its chemicals apart, put the leather fibers back together in a three-dimensional form. So it is leather, and the advantage of it is that you can get it in rolls, in sheets, and it's very flexible, smooth. It's now entering the marketplace. You can buy the product today, and it's going to be featured in shoes. We're working with a very large shoe manufacturer. Furniture and bags. It can supply most of the types of industry that leather would supply.
Great. Well, let's talk a little more about the performance. Now, it's grained. It looks just like leather when I look at it, and then,
yes.
Of course, it is. It's made of leather. And it smells and feels like leather. Does it have the same resistance to tears and to abrasions that leather does?
Yes, that took a long time to do that, but we match. Well, there are a lot of types of leather and various properties of leather, but we match generally the leather standards in tear resistance, strength, and probably more abrasion resistance, and very good breathability. And it actually processes like leather after it's formed. It goes through finishing processing that the finisher can put any kind of embossing or coating or anything that would be leathery subject to. It will be softened like leather. It can be polished like leather. It can be buffed like leather. So any of the processes used to commercialize materials from leather, Enspire can be put through those processes and will look like leather at the other end.
Now, let's talk about where you source this from. Leather production and the use of leather in various products is very wasteful. A lot of scrap ends up on the floor, and that's your source of materials. Let's talk about how dirty is leather production just generally, and how much are you going to be reducing waste and pollution as a result of using your technology?
Well, there are different studies that mention how much scrap leather is generated. As a rule of thumb, from the hide to a final product, if you buy a product that has 1 square foot of leather in it, we've thrown away 3 square feet. You get about 25% yield in total for the total process.
That's an incredible waste.
There was an article written like 8 to 10 years ago in one of the governmental studies that said that in the leather industry, there is a 0.5 pound of waste generated for every person in the world.
Okay. Now, what about the materials that are, or the chemicals that are used to tan leather? Is that something that you're going to be using in your process, or is that simply not necessary because you've already treated the leather with your process?
No, we don't have to do any tanning. And all the ingredients that we use through the process are very environmentally friendly. Some of them are things that you would drink or have in your body. It's just different concentrations. And we've had it tested several different places, and there are no hazardous materials included in the product.
And when you're done with all those waste products, are you processing and using those in order to even to reduce your footprint even further?
The waste, we have no waste products when we make it. Everything, the only thing that comes out is water that's cleaner than when we take it in from the river. So there's no waste there. And if we generate waste in the process, we recycle it back into the material. So we generate no waste. And it's possible, although we haven't done it yet, to just collect the waste from the user and bring it back and recycle it. So it has potential of being zero waste in the whole cycle.
So leather fibers could be very recyclable in and of themselves. So you could even recapture your own material at the end of its life and reuse those fibers.
We don't do that yet. We've had a lot of contacts from large companies that want to utilize their waste and send us the scrap. That's a big driving force. We've had some very interesting contacts because people are looking at environmental impact of it and the fact that it is an alternative. And if you use our product instead of leather, you greatly reduce carbon impact, all the key indicators of environmental acceptableness, positive, if you can use a product that will accompany it. It's more hazardous to process fresh leather than it would be to use our material.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, normally people associate a sort of an environmental premium with the price of things that are made sustainably. Is Enspire leather more or less expensive or roughly the same price as traditional leather?
It will probably be lower price than the general utility leather. Because it's the cost to make it and the fact that we get leather free, it makes it easier to do that. So it could be quite cost effective.
Now,
and then the biggest advantage is that it greatly reduces scrap because the product comes in whatever form you want, perfect rectangles or in rolls, and you can optimize your yield. So we can probably, actually a little joke we say is we supply product to the general industry, everybody in the supply chain. For instance, we give the purchasing agent a lower price. We improve the manufacturing margins and your manager yields, that he gets better yields. And the marketing manager gets a new product. And that's sort of how we position it. Each of them got a gain using this material.
Now, are you sourcing this locally, or are you going to be sourcing this from all over the world in the long run with many different productions?
In the long run, we source now locally. We would have a significant availability of leather locally. Since not as much leather is sent to China and other parts of the world, there's a lot of leather available at the users, particularly the small pieces and the scrap items, which nobody can use. They bury it or burn it. That's ideal for us. And what we do differently, a lot of the synthetic recycled leathers will grind up the leather and use the leather as filler in a structure in some way, whether it's a coating or whether it's a polymer and it's a filler. We're the only ones that we found that actually are using the leather fibers back together again to create the strength. We don't have any attachments or webs. The strength is gotten from the fibers as it was in Mother Nature.
Now, you've been doing this for about 5 years based on reading your site.
Actually, probably more than that. It's like 6 or 7. We started as an idea in my partner's basement. And we went that way for a while, and it was a long journey because the technologies we had to use were different, brand new, had never been used before, so we had to do them, improve them.
And you have product available that people can buy today.
Yes.
Where can you buy Enspire leather as a consumer?
Just you could go into our internet and order. And it gives you instructions. It comes right to one of our reps. And normally we would turn around samples to you in about a day. And then you can decide, and the price list if you wish, and then you can decide how to proceed. Most cases, people who want to buy will go a step at a time. Will let us evaluate it first, and then we'll send them material and scraps and work with them. If they have a problem, we can work with them. So that's primarily on this phase what we're doing a lot of work with. If somebody has an interest, I can get you a material within a day.
For a lot of folks who are listening, they may be doing projects that would be able to use this leather. There are obviously, too, a lot of large companies that are constantly buying and wasting a lot of leather, particularly in the fashion and furniture industries.
Right.
Are you finding that those industries are looking for sustainable alternatives to traditional leather?
It has been growing that way. It is getting very strong in shoes. It is getting strong in furniture. It wasn't originally, but there's more and more interest in furniture.
And is that because consumers are asking for it, do you think?
I'm not sure of that. I know in the shoe industry, they're asking for it. And I don't know. That's a good question for the furniture industry, but they're looking for new products. A lot of them are always looking for new products. So it has its own natural pool. Europe is much more active than we are. But for instance, one time the automotive manufacturers in Europe were very interested in getting alternatives into cars. Now we work with Ford and General Motors in projects. They're very interested in pulling it in from the environmental aspect. I'm surprised at how some of the large companies are creating their own environmental divisions looking for alternative products. So it's been a lot easier to get in than it used to be in the automotive area.
It's fascinating you're in the automotive space. I mean, we typically think of synthetics in that industry now. But let's go back a little bit more to fashion and furniture, because these are both industries that have pretty lousy environmental footprints. How do you reach and educate the leaders of these industries about the benefits of Enspire leather and generally about the sustainability of leather overall?
Well, we're formatting that a little better than we do now. We have literature. We have sales reps that will approach big customers. Then we'll have conference calls with them. And we've hired some B2B marketing specialists to strengthen our story, to create the push story to get into larger companies.
So you're educating.
We're educating, yeah. However, we've had some articles out. There's been an awful lot of pull. Most of the people we've contacted are contacting us for samples. The word gets around the industry. We had a previous article written, and it's been generating a lot of calls. And they're from all over the world. I don't know if I got calls from China yesterday that are looking for it. So for some reason, people are looking at articles and information in relation to this product. But it's education. We tell them if there's restrictions to it, how you would use it. Generally, there aren't, but we'll work with you if you find a problem.
Well, so what should we be looking for from Sustainable Composites next? Do you have news coming?
Well, I hope we'll see a series of articles coming out in various areas, announcing our product, and maybe in some larger communications that we'll start to do some B2B push, and we're still doing that now with large companies. Maybe the final consumer won't see it as fast because we're not going to make bags or make shoes or make furniture. So we have to drive it through the chain. But we're looking at ways that we might touch the industry directly. For instance, if some notable celebrity would be very interested in our product, we want to carry the Enspire name to the industry as deep as it can go. However, we're not going to supply it. We are supplying the product and new technologies around the product, and then have other folks merchandise.
Well, it sounds like you've made tremendous progress at the beginning of your company's life, and you're poised for a lot of growth. Congratulations.
Yes, but invention is very different. Mother Nature does not give up her secrets easily. there are more other ways. There are other ways to say that, but I will say she doesn't give up her secrets.
Well, I'm glad you've been working on it. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today, Frank.
All right. Very well. Thank you.
Well, folks, that was Frank Fox, who is the co-founder and leader of Sustainable Composites. You can find them on the web at sustainablecompositesllc.com and check out their product and learn how to order it. If you're doing a craft project, this sounds like a great thing for you to be looking at. We'll be back with another episode of Earth 911 Sustainability in Your Ear soon. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe, your host, and stay tuned and stay well, everybody.